enjoying your sweetest moments with me, Merging Timelines. I'm your host, Melly Mel's, and Angelic Melody Melanie, the Airy Fairy Mystic. Today we're going to get into the discussion, the topic, the human avatar with Merging Timelines. And as you know, this is going to be merging the sun and the moon. So our understanding of the known and the unknown. And they're both going to come together to create one collective. So really quick, as I get into this topic, I'm going to talk about the light and the dark. I'm going to describe the light and dark within 3 different angles so that you can see its individual investment in your avatar, okay? What this is the known, which we know is our structure, it is the father, it is the lead, it is the thought. The unknown is the woman, it is the follower, it is the submissive, it is the flow, right? So as we merge these 2 worlds and get into our topic, I want to talk about how in this world we're accustomed or conditioned to ascending within a staged sort of system. So we're from the very beginning accustomed to aligning to grade school, for an example, and then after that we ascend into college, and then after that we ascend into our job, and those cycles begin and end, they pause, they start over, all in different times of our lives. And so for everyone, exploring the light world is different. And then the light world represents your ego. It represents your father, your sun sign. And as you get into further along your experiences, you'll start to find that you want to connect more. You have a longing to connect. And I'd like to say that's when we get into our internal world, right? That's that dark world, the world that's unknown to us, but it's deep, deep within us. The truths are always deep, deep within us, collective. So once we get into those inner truths, we can find that we'll want to level the playing field around us just so that we can find more and more peace. And these leveled playing fields just create the connectivity that's necessary for our internal ascension, okay? Because as you go within, you still want to be able to look up and connect. So it's important to remain compassionate with yourself as you merge the 2 worlds into creating your avatar. And how are we doing this? We're doing this by exploring the light and the dark, as I was saying, and then ascending into our higher self. We ascend into our higher self because we have the desire to then move others collectively within our intention, right? And a lot of us have been getting into our higher selves. We're working to move the collective into a different mind frame that will be a home of peace for everyone. So, for examples within this, I am going to talk about my own studies in light and dark. And these are going to be different for everyone, but they're just correspondences so that others can find a way to look at themselves deeper and see how they too have created their own avatar, right? I see everyone talking about the AI, and we don't talk about the divine and how the divine really creates this beautiful orchestration for all of us to ascend into our becoming. My studies in the light happened in high school, like most of us, right? We grow up in these families that do their very best to form societal conditions and societal expectations, right? So we try to align to that to the best we can, and we even go through grade school to where we allow them to position us in a place where this will be comfortable for us in days to come within society. In the dark side of us, though, this comes when you have that deeper longing to connect. It probably happens in your first relationship. For me, it happened in my first relationship. I ended up doing the same cycle a few times within connecting with others, and stayed in this one connection that is widely known as a karmic connection, but I spent 11 years in that, and 11 years understanding my own darkness, because I was emotionally codependent due to the positioning or the roles, right? The delegated roles of our society. The masculine leads and the feminine is the follower. And so I fell into this sort of expectation and fulfilled it to the best of my abilities with my partner. You know, I think we did a great job helping each other to evolve. But it wasn't long after doing my studies within the dark that I realized I wanted to emerge out of this. I wanted to lead a world that would be comfortable with expressing itself. And I found that through the light, which is the father and the mother, the dark merging. And the easiest way to merge those two into harmony is to get a deeper understanding of what is your individual vision of both of them. How do you see them? How do you allow them to be in your life? Because a lot of times our learnings, right, in the experience, the learned behaviors that we see around us start to form our expectation of both of these positions in our human experience, male and female, that is, right? So depending on what your vision of those two are, as you heal that, you would allow yourself to ascend. As you look at that through a different or through loving eyes, right? I know that sometimes it's really hard because you just don't know why you feel a certain way towards a certain group. So I would start by healing my relationship with my mother and father. And even if I didn't have a communication with them, I would find deeper ways to understand what it is that they've went through and why they've gone through it that way and why they can only see to a certain extent, right? And with its compassion, it then allows you to provide a safe space for them and to provide a way out for the both of you. Because when God creates its divine orchestration, it's replicating each one of us over and over again until we choose to ascend within our knowing, right? So you, as the child, have to look deep within you and marriage those two that created you. Because what you'll see is that if you can't find harmony with them, after you go out into the world, you will then create more and more fragmentation of those versions of those two that you come from, based off of you not creating harmony with its start, right? With its beginning, with its becoming. So you're already here, light beings. You're already here. It is now for us to look at where we come from and harmonize them. Give them the relationship we wish they had. What is the relationship that we wish for masculine and feminines, no matter what position they're in this third dimension, right? Whether they are your brother, father, or spouse, they create three different angles in a time and space, giving you every bit of hope for its highest character expression. And I want to say to you guys that it is going to happen for you. You know, you're going to find this harmony between the two that you've come from and how you can ascend out of them and create a world beyond where it's gotten, okay? I know that in my story time, I discussed my intention for reading tarot and creating merging timelines, and also creating this 3D avatar for myself, Melly Mel's, an angelic melody, Melanie, the airy fairy mystic. These angles of myself represent different timelines. They represent me accepting the 3 different chapters, 3 different cycles, just going to apply myself so that you can remove me and put yourself in it. But I divide mine in decades, where the first set I was known as Melly Mel's, and everyone in my childhood knows me as Melly Mel's. In my dark studies, remember I talked about the feminine, the follower, the submissive. When I fell into that role of being the submissive, I then learned how to see what is it that my inner self longs for. That nurturer, that mother that we all have within us. What does she long for? And at times I could look up from my perspective and see from different angles, my mother and father's angle, with compassion as to how they were feeling, and it would create more of a light space for me to then reflect back to them. So as we merge the 2 of those, then we become in ourself. We know that we came for a higher calling. We know we came to harmonize our collective, starting with each and every connection that is around us, starting with your friendships, your family ships, your relationships, even with your coworkers, because we started to notice that it was not anything that we had with each other. It's never personal. It was all something that we all did to work to evolve as a human collective. And I'm starting to even see that even the societal structure was us to begin with. You know how a lot of us, or myself included, tend to fall into this idea that the system is against us, you know? And I'll be honest, I don't know for a fact that our system is against us. So I will always have to internalize this sort of awareness that is amongst the collective, you know, without discrediting my brothers and sisters, because I know that we all come into different things at different times. But I'm starting to accept that society, our structure, our government is something that the people created, because the people the people are of God. You know, each and every one of us are a creation. You know, we are something that was created to inspire, to evolve, to ascend collectively. And the more that we have each and every member of us in mind, I think the easier it is for us to ascend. I started to notice that the more that I created opposition within the ascension, meaning that some people aren't going to awaken, some people don't see what we see, I think that it is just us to say, hey, let's level this playing field again, getting back to the human avatar. Let's see each other and how we all created this humanism that we have working today. And it's always getting to its highest level. It's always working to get better, no matter what role you play in it. You know, no matter if you're the nurse, you are the firefighter, you're the construction worker, or if you're on the metaphysical end and you do tarot, you do Reiki, you're into the singing bowl and creating beats, astro travel. Those are the light and dark worlds coming together within ourselves. These different roles are all a part of our multidimensional being. You know, neither one of us can really say that we're outside of it or we're above it or it doesn't pertain to us, because we are all here existing within the same realm. the more that we just accept it, we can start to see our multiverse. You know, we can start to see how the things that we have been watching is actually us. And it's funny how I feel the divine has orchestrated this mirror for its collective to say, hey, it's me. It's not you, it's me. It's us. It's us, you know? And so casting judgment has always been easier for us collective. But once we start to internalize our worlds, we start to realize that we are here to judge ourselves and continue to judge ourselves so that we can remain balanced within our feminine and masculine energies, as we can contain or keep this consistent vibe within us. We can then ascend outside of this, you know, rise into that higher self, because now we have everyone in mind. We don't have a poor vision of any masculine, whether that is a brother, a friend, a father, a spouse, an ex-spouse. Because harmonizing our relationships even happens with our karmic partners, happens with our soulmates, happens with our family. There, in the year of 7, in this spiritual year, there is no more of separation, and separation within our own self too. We have no space to harbor resentment, to harbor burdens of our past. We are now coming into so much enlightenment that it is almost impossible for you to feel as though you have to carry it. You would then have to be choosing time and time again to ignore the call that we all are getting. And this ignorance, I like to say, would just come from a sense of pride. It would come from a sense of needing to know something instead of receiving it from someone close to you. You know, holding their hand and saying, yes, I see with you how I am a part of this ascension. Let us do what it takes to be one, you know. Let us look at each other not through the eyes of pain, resentment, and more greed. You know, let's look at each other from the eyes of, I want what I want for me, for you, and for them, and for them. Because when we are on the same leveled playing field, we actually ascend collectively, and that's what the goal is. No longer do the people want to ascend individually. They start to see how alone they are. They're starting to see how it's nice to feel as if you are separate, or to feel as if you're highlighted for the things that you bring to the table. But at the end of the day, it is the table in which you do it for. So, hi, thank you for joining the live with me. I'm not really looking at the chat, but I'm happy you're here. So I have also wanted to discuss how leveling the playing field of the internal world has something to do with the 12 constellations. I don't think that anything in this world is by accident. It's all meant to show us ourselves. And so when we can internalize the things that the world has externalized, we can start to see, okay, maybe it wasn't a 12-stage ascension into functioning with the rest of our collective. Maybe it was the 12 constellations, and that when we can visit each constellation, each zodiac sign, each person, right? We're 3 different aspects to this I'm trying to create so that we can always see, and I'm gonna get better at this. So thank you for being patient with me, and thank you for understanding that I am evolving and learning just like you are. And I'm just trying to use my courage to now share where I'm at with the rest of you. So I do believe that the 12 constellations is how we're ascending. It's our connectivity in the age of Aquarius. Aquarius is about the human collective and how we can ascend as a whole. So I know that once we learn our brothers and sisters in the way we wanted to be known ourselves individually, we can embrace its differences and come together to use all of its angles to play the most beautiful symphony, right? The most beautiful tune. And I think that's what we're striving for. I genuinely think as a collective, we are striving to become our higher selves. We are not just our higher selves because we're not leaving behind who we are as in our masculine or feminine. We can't leave those parts of us behind anymore. Those parts of us have to merge. Our mother and father, the relationships that we even had outside of those to start with, right? Some of us aren't going to see the mother and father parts that play a big role in us because we didn't have that. But then you can also see how your mother and father became your head and your heart, and you started to become your own mother and father. And as you mirrored the two ends of yourself, you became the higher self. And you started to see how I have the desire to now show what I've come into with others, because I want them to see that we are all one. I want them to see there's been a time when I needed you and you needed me. And if we were together, we would be able to ascend quicker. We would be able to overcome our obstacles within. I don't know, like I feel very, very scattered in this, even more than my last video, the story time. Sometimes I just feel as if it's going to run as it should, you know, just run right into the way I'd like it to be. But I also know that there has to be a surrender within myself that allows the authentic nature of this becoming in its entirety. So a real quick recap on the third dimension, the 3D avatar. It is in opposition of the AI, right? And I feel like it is up to the dark world, the subconscious world. It is up to the black sheep, those who are using their feelings to navigate their world instead of their logic. It is up to us to then bring the polarity of the AI. It is for us to say, hey, yes, the external world has created the AI, but the divine orchestration is showing us itself too. It is showing us that with its harmony between its mother and father, its head and heart, we can ascend. We can ascend into this higher self because we can see both of our ends with a level of compassion that says, okay, I've seen how I've done this up until this point with the mentality of lack and survival, and no one is free of this. No one is free of that first mind frame where our world was created. You know, yes, the newer beings that come into this, it's going to be foreign to them. They're not going to get it, and we see it amongst the collective where a lot of people are saying people don't want to work anymore. You know, remember in 2020 where they were creating more of a clear vision for us unintentionally. You know, that's what happened in 2020 when we had the lockdown. We actually got to feel more than we could see, and our sensitivity being heightened couldn't be undone. And so now that we are able to feel ourselves and feel others, we then start to get into this desire to create a world with more feeling, more connectivity, more time, like that time frame. We're all like, I want to go back to that. Did I enjoy and I should say, please forgive me, because for everyone, that time frame wasn't a good time. A lot of people went through a lot of their darkness then. They went through the darkest times of their life. And so I really want to say to you, if that was you, I'm sorry, because I feel every bit of that. You know, I did not experience it, but my sensitivity I was just speaking of allowed me to then take back what I said and say, not for everyone was it peace. For some people, it was the start for the desire of peace. but we are all together in this. We are merging the known and the unknown. And so no longer do I want our society to feel as if it is our government that is against us. If it is someone who is orchestrating this against us, let them continue to be unseen the way that they desire to be. Until they show their face, they should be just as ignored, you know? Just as ignored as the pain that we see multiplied throughout the collective through its distortion, its intent to separate, divide, and fragmentate. You know, I think that we should just decide to not see it until it decides to show itself, because more of its assumption is creating more and more enemies amongst us. But if we are to allow ourselves to see that we are the people who created it, then we'll work even from the top of it, from the very, very top. Because all I know is that if I was effectively communicating to those that I felt lead my ascension process, we could find harmony within, because they would know that I'm there to help them in the same way that they're there to help me. The masculine and feminine must work together, whether that is in any dynamic we see today. It really is any dynamic. Friendship, familyship, relationships, and coworkers, they're all love. They're all the basis of love and the exchange to see one another with the compassion to work together and ascend for the highest good of all. So that is the three angles. That is the third dimension avatar. That is the opposition to the AI that we are getting ready to experience. Let us, the black sheep, the subconscious community, bring this awareness to our collective by just being it ourselves. And I hope that you continue to check in with me. I'll continue to check in with you. We'll continue to build each other and encourage each other to be this version of ourselves, because we have mirrored the two. I hope that this message made sense. I hope that it was something that you find peace in, something that you can share with your loved ones. Even if it's not me, I want it to be within you, because I want you to see you like you see me. You know, yes, I'm pushing myself to be on camera, but I'm no different than you. You know, I have a mother, I have a father, I've been a leader, I've been a follower, I've been in my head, I've been in my heart. But it is now for us to find harmony within the two of those sides of us and come into a higher being, come into a higher cause, a higher intent, to see all of us just play on this very big playground as one big group of children, you know, the children of the creation, the creator. I think that's it. Really hope that it turned out well. Because I really planned for this, but I have to be honest with you, I never go off the script. Sometimes I'm writing it just to get out of my mind, but I know that this gray area that I'm experiencing is necessary. You know, this discomfort, this uncertainty, this I'm not sure if I made sense to you is all a part of the human experience. And so let me not remove it to be more perfect, but embrace it to be more human and allow myself to connect on a deeper level with you, because it is truly just my intention to do so. Thank you for sharing time and space. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you soon. Bye.